Hey everybody, welcome to the Middle of Nowhere. I put together another PC build, and today we're going to be going over the parts I chose, why I chose them, how much I spent on them, and some of the methods I used to help save me some money. I'll also be unboxing nearly every part as I go over them, so you can see
what's in the box.
Will that ever get old? When I've assembled the parts that you see here, minus the RAM and the NVMe storage, which is unfortunately stuck at the post office, this will become the budget streamer PC build. The goal of this build is to be able to game at 1080p, stream to Twitch or Mixer or any other kind of service, as well as to do some content creation such as video editing and image manipulation. The M-ATX form factor gives it a smaller footprint over regular ATX builds while maintaining enough PCI slots to be able to expand in the future. Several factors came into play when deciding on which components I was going to get for this build. First, the parts had to accommodate the purpose, which was to play games in 1080p, stream, and do content creation. Second is budget, which the purpose informs, but also determines the quality of components that you can buy. Most of the time we set a dollar amount for a PC that we want to build. However, I think when you have a purpose in mind first, that will help guide you with how much you actually need to spend. For instance, if you only have $500 and you want to build an excellent 1080p and streaming PC, it just might not be feasible and you might have to save up for a little bit more. I chose my parts carefully to stay in the budget that I set for myself while also adhering to some must-haves. I didn't want to sacrifice too much on features, aesthetics, or quality, which can happen if you go the cheapest route. Catch my mustard cables, anyone? I tried sticking to a budget of $650 to $700, but ended up with an actual cost of around $750 to $800. This is due to the insane volatility of the PC market right now, as well as availability of parts from online and local retailers. As such, the cost of the build actually spiked up to about just under $800 before taxes and shipping, and most of this spike was due to the CPU I ended up buying, which I'll get into later. Thirdly, I didn't want to repeat myself in this build by purchasing the same PC parts that I used in the $450 build. Where possible, I avoided using the same model, component, or even brand, especially when it came to the motherboard and the case, as I want to make separate videos for these items. It's not that I've encountered any kind of quality issue with commands that I've used in the past, quite the opposite actually. I've had nothing but good experiences. What it really comes down to is that there's just so much variety in the PC component marketplace that I want to expose both myself and you when you watch these videos to that variety. That way, from one build to the next, I won't necessarily be using the same part. Of course, the side effect of this decision is somewhat of an increased cost to myself, but I'm willing to take that on so that I can expose myself, and again you, to the wide variety of the PC component world. Because prices have also been so crazy as of late, I want to also share some of the methods that I use to help save me some money, and I'll go over these at the end of the video. Suffice to say, they're very simple and you're probably already using some of them already.
Originally, I wanted to use the Ryzen 5 1600 AF CPU for this build. Effectively a lower clocked Ryzen 2600, the 1600 AF is a great value at $85 US. Unfortunately, I missed my chance to purchase it at that price, and it has either been out of stock or is selling for 80 to 90% over the $85 retail price. If you cannot find the 1600 AF for $85 or very near it, say maybe $95, do not buy it. It's just not worth it. So for $172 and some change, I bought the Ryzen 5 3600 instead. It comes with the Wraith Stealth cooler just like the 1600 AF, but the 3600 has a higher base and boost speed. It also has more L3 cache, better memory compatibility, and is PCI 4.0 compatible should I ever upgrade to an X570 motherboard or one of the as of yet released B550 motherboards due out in June 2020. Because I've already used the Gigabyte B450 Aorus M, I wanted to get a motherboard from a different manufacturer. Cost dictated I'd be going with M-ATX again, so this time I opted for the ASRock B450M Pro 4. This board is actually $5 less than the Gigabyte option while staying nearly as feature rich. I was also very happy to see the Ryzen 3000 Ready sticker on the box. This means I won't have to hunt down a temporary CPU and update the BIOS. The 3600 will work right out of the box. The ASRock board has about as many rear USB ports, one of which is USB Type-C, which the Aorus M lacks. However, the Pro 4 has 2 less SATA ports, and the rear audio solution seems a little bit anemic with just 3 ports, although it still supports 7.1 surround sound. If onboard audio doesn't do it for you, you can always add an external DAC headphone amp. I've been using Creative Sound Blaster X7 for years now and love it. There are 3 PCIe slots, 1x16 for your GPU, and a x 4 and x 1 so you can insert a capture card or NVMe PCIe adapter if you wanted. It also has 4 slots for RAM. To save cost, some M-ATX motherboards only have 2 slots. When I build the PC, I'll have to see if the BIOS is as easy to navigate and update as Gigabyte's. As with the under $450 build, my budget allowed for 16 gigabytes of memory. 3200 speed memory is still cheap, and while 3600 MHz has also become less expensive and is the sweet spot for Ryzen 2 CPUs, the ASRock B450M Pro 4 is limited to 3200. According to the product website, you can use 3600 speed RAM, but only at 8 gigabytes. I could be wrong, of course, so if you've used 16 gigabytes of DDR4 3600 MHz speed RAM with this motherboard, please sound off in the comments section. Since I've already used G-Skill's Ripjaws 5 RAM in the last build, I wanted to try a different company and went with Team's T-Force Vulcan Z RAM. It's 3200 MHz, CL16, and costs $67.99, which is among the cheapest prices I could find for a 16 gigabyte kit. The heat sinks aren't too large and are a nice black chrome color. This is my first time using a Team product, and I hope it works as flawlessly as the Ripjaw 5 kit. For those of you dead set on buying 3600 speed memory, you can find CL16 kits starting at $84 and CL18 kits at $77. Thankfully, this is in 2018. SSD prices have come down considerably, and there are a lot of options to choose from. The goal here was to have an SSD drive for my boot drive, commonly used programs, and for use in video editing. As such, it needed to be big enough to accommodate. Enter the WD Blue SN550. At 500 gigabytes, it's big enough for Windows and some oft-use programs. I should also be able to edit from it as well. One pitfall of this drive is it doesn't have DRAM cache, which is a concern. It does have a write cache, but after that fills, performance will degrade. I won't know by how much until I test it. If I wanted to buy an SSD with DRAM cache, I'd have to increase my budget. And if you're wondering why I chose NVMe over 2.5-inch SATA SSD, the prices were actually the same for this capacity. For mass storage, I went with the WD Blue Caviar 7200 RPM platter drive. It's 1 terabyte and will be sufficient enough to store other programs as well as local recordings when I want to capture those epic gaming moments. However, I think I'd recommend going with Seagate's 2 terabyte Barracuda drive even if it uses the slower SMR technology. It's only $5 more while offering twice the storage capacity. Not sure what SMR or PMR are? Check out the links in the description. Deciding on a graphics card was a tough decision. I'd mulled over choosing the 1650 Super, but after discussing it with people on the PC Part Picker forums, I ultimately settled on buying the 1660 Super and went with the Gigabyte GTX OC version, which cost $229. The lowest price 1660 Super cards tend to go for. I originally wanted the Asus TUF Gaming card as it has a higher boost clock out of the box at 1845 MHz versus the 1830 MHz with the Gigabyte card, but it was out of stock. Hopefully the difference will be negligible and can be matched or surpassed with a manual overclock. For $20 more, I could have bought a higher clocked Gigabyte or Asus GPU, both of which have a 3-fan design versus the 2-fan of the OC version, and have clock speeds coming in at 1860 MHz. So why Team Green over Red? I wanted to take advantage of NVIDIA's newer NVENC encoder while streaming. The 1660 Super should be able to play almost any game at highest settings in 1080p while streaming. If you think I should have gone with a Radeon card, let me know which model and why. I always want to hear your thoughts, and who knows, it could help me decide on a part in a future build. For the case, I had a few requirements: good airflow, included fans, and a glass side panel. When I saw the Cooler Master NR400, I knew I'd found the case for this build. It has a sleek, if not understated, gray and black design, it has a mesh front panel for good airflow, it has a tempered glass side panel, and comes with 2 fans. It also has grommets for cable management, which is a rarity for a case at this price point. Depending on your region, you can even get a version without an optical drive bay. Unfortunately, that option isn't available in the US. Cooler Master, please sell both versions in the US. Oh hey there, yeah, I'm not going to actually do a full unboxing on the case on this video. You'll have to stay tuned for a future video where I do an unboxing of the NR400 as well as an overview. Don't worry though, I'll provide some sweet product pictures from the website and also pictures from the other cases that I'm going to mention. With regards to price, I saw the NR400 as low as $58, but it's consistently priced around $64.99. Luckily, I found someone selling the case on eBay. They had it for buy it now at $60 or best offer. I submitted an offer for $50 and they countered with $55. As the case was out of stock in most places or had a more on the way notice, I pounced on it. There was also no shipping costs and sales tax was less than $4. As for alternatives to the NR400, of course you can find PC cases for less, which is something to consider when on a budget. Some of those cheaper cases might even have a tempered glass side panel. However, you might be stuck with no fan, only one fan, or a crap fan. As I haven't tested the NR400 fans yet, I don't know if they're good or bad, but hey, at least I have 2 of them. Alternative cases I'd recommend are Thermaltake's Versa H18. This is similarly priced to the NR400 at $54.99. I'd also check out the Cougar MX330G. It's very similar to the NRMax Grace mesh that I used in the under $450 PC build. It's a mid-tower design, so it supports ATX motherboards, whereas the NR400 and Versa H18 support only M-ATX and smaller motherboards. The MX330G also has a PSU shroud, a tempered glass side panel, and comes with one fan installed. It retails for around $45.98 at the time of this video. Finally, we come to the PSU. The only requirements for this component was to not have any ketchup and mustard cables and to be certified 80 plus bronze or better. Ultimately, this was one of the hardest components to buy. What made it so difficult was the fluctuating market. Every time I settled on a PSU, it either went out of stock or the price soared within a day of me putting it on the PC part picker list. Ultimately, I bought Corsair's CX550W 80 plus bronze PSU, which was recommended on the PC part picker forums. This PSU has all black cables that includes your standard 24-pin ATX cable, an 8-pin EPS cable, 2 PCIe 8-pin cables, which are 6+2, 2 SATA cables for a total of 5 connections, and a peripheral cable with 4 Molex connections. The Corsair CX550 also has enough wattage to support a GPU upgrade in the future, as well as more fans and storage. I bought the PSU on Newegg's eBay store for cheaper than their regular site, and I was able to use a coupon and $12 in eBay bucks to bring the price down even more to a whopping $67.52 after sales tax and shipping. Alternatively, you could use EVGA's BQ 500W PSU, which I use in the under $450 PC build, and Thermaltake's Smart BX1 650W PSU is another option. Another budget PSU I've had my eye on is the Seasonic S12 III. It's available in 500, 550, or 650W varieties, with the 550W coming in at the lowest price of just $55. Unfortunately, it's been hard to find in stock. If you've used this S12 III, how's your experience been? Let me know in the comments below. While none of the PSUs I've mentioned are modular, none of them also have any ketchup or mustard cables.
As I was going over the parts for this build, you may have picked on some of the ways that I saved money. When it comes to organizing my parts and choosing which ones I want to buy, I use PCPartPicker.com. It's a great site that helps me stay organized. It has almost every part you can imagine, and if you can't find something, you can use the forums and make a request to get it added. The forums are also a great place to bounce build ideas and get feedback from other community members. Additionally, you can show off your completed build or view builds to get ideas. Price-wise, it tracks how much an item costs and provides the price for multiple retailers so you can see who has the best deal. PC Part Picker is not all-encompassing. For instance, eBay prices are not included, but it's a great launch point. For discount codes, I use the web browser plugins Wikibuy and Honey. Wikibuy is great because when I go to a product page on Amazon, it lets me know if I'm getting the best price. If I'm not, I can click on the link to find out how to get the item for less. Both Wikibuy and Honey also scour the internet for coupon codes and lets you apply them at checkout. If none work, you can sometimes get credit added to your Wikibuy or Honey account to be used for a later purchase. Additionally, Wikibuy tends to run promo coupons, so if you're a first-time user, you can save a little at checkout. For instance, I saved an additional $8 on the motherboard. Finally, I use eBay, and saying this isn't really anything special, however, I have been able to get some great deals on new items like this case here, the PSU, and even the motherboard. It's how I was able to get the RX 580 for $134.99 as opposed to the normal retail price of $169 or $189.99. You can also earn cash towards future purchases through the eBay Bucks program. On qualifying purchases, you'll receive a percentage of that item's price in the form of eBay Bucks. I earned $12 in eBay Bucks for my first quarter 2020 purchases and applied that to the Corsair PSU. The only downside is they expire, so use them if you got them. Any reward program that doesn't have a subscription fee like the eBay Bucks program or Best Buy's Reward Zone is worth signing up for in my opinion. You never know when it will save you money on a future purchase. Ultimately, every little bit helps when it comes to saving money. If you're worried about getting deluged with marketing and spam emails, you can always create a separate email address just for shopping. Well, that's it for the budget streamer. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm really curious as to see how well this build will perform. What do you think about the parts I chose? What would you have done the same or differently? How would you have squeezed as much performance out of this build with the purpose in mind for less money? Post any questions or comments you have down below. Hit like and get subscribed, and don't forget to hit that notification icon so you don't miss out on any future content like the build and benchmark video I'll be making on this PC. I'm Seth, and I'll see you next time in the middle of nowhere.